For understanding the 10 heads of Ravan, you have to understand the story behind Ravan. Ravan was Jay, gatekeeper of Vaikunt, okay? Vishnu's gatekeeper. I don't know if you know this story, but this is a very famous Puranic story. So he was Jay, and then there was another a gatekeeper called Vijay. So Jay and Vijay were gatekeepers of Vaikunt. So the Vishnu was one time having a meeting with some sages called Sanat Kumar. There were 4 sages, and he said, nobody should disturb me. So then Rishi Durvasa came, and Durvasa is known for his anger. And Jay and Vijay did not allow Durvasa to enter Vaikunt or meet with Vishnu. So Durvasa is famous, gave a curse to Jay and Vijay that you'll be born in earth, on earth. So then they were very upset, and so Vishnu came out and he said that you should apply discretion when to say no to somebody. That has to be there. Now that karma has been done, okay, you've already said no to that rishi and he was very angry, so I cannot undo his curse. You have 2 choices. You can have 100 lives where you are my devotee and then come back to Vaikunt after 100 lives, or you can be born as my enemy and 3 lifetimes and then come back to me and join in Vaikunt after 3 lifetimes. So Jay and Vijay were very fond of Vishnu, so they couldn't bear staying away from Vishnu for 100 lifetimes. So they thought, we'll just be born as enemy for 3 lifetimes and then join Vishnu back in Vaikunt. Okay, now this is all story. Don't take it literally. So first of all, there's always an action and there's always a consequence of an action. No matter, there's nothing good or bad. So this culture was so mature that it never categorized anybody as evil or good. Okay, I'll tell you how. So this Jay and Vijay were in Treta Yuga were born as Ravan and Kumbhakaran. Okay, and they were opposite of Rama, and they said that by our character we'll show how karma plays a role. And so Ravan was very intelligent. So there are many stutis of Ravan also. Ravan was very intelligent. He was very well read, knowledgeable of all the Vedas. He was very strong, but he was an accumulator of not only knowledge, accumulator of wealth. And he was not only accumulator, he was a grabber. He wanted everything and anything in the world. He wanted to be the best in life. Okay, sounds familiar? You all want our kids to be like that, isn't it? You always tell, do your best, get this, get that. But then he, through his character, he played a role where he had also these Shad Ripus, we call that 6 enemies of a mind. What are the 6 enemies of the mind? Kam, lust, Krodh, Moh is delusion, Mad is pride, Matsarya is jealousy, and Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh is greed, Mad and Matsarya. Mad is pride and Matsarya is jealousy. See, he had all these things together with his good qualities. Okay, so now Ravana was not bad. He was also worshipped by a lot of people. Even in South India, some of the temples we have for Ravana because of his knowledge. And he was a Shiva Bhakt. And he wrote Shiv Strotam or something, Tandav Strotam. So he was a very knowledgeable person. And he also got a boon from Shiva. But Ravan is a very good example of somebody who's opposite to spiritual growth. He wants to accumulate everything. Ram is totally opposite. Ram is, I don't want anything. I want to give away everything. So this stark contrast, but that doesn't mean we should categorize everybody as either good or bad. The shades of gray. So nobody is inherently good or bad. Their situations, their mind makes them choose certain things and their consequences of certain things. Okay. Ravan is something who doesn't stop. He has a lot of passion in whatever he does. Now, the second aspect to understand all these 6, what we call as enemies of mind, are actually the forces of nature. We all get anger. We all have some of the other aspects of this. These are the forces of nature that all dominates our mind. But again, having Ram in the picture, it's an example that these natural forces of our mind should not be causing harm to others and also should not be stopping you from doing good or from spiritual growth. So listen to all these stories with very open mind and never categorize anybody as good or bad, and try to go beyond even your own mind. Don't try to just categorize, oh my God, I'm so evil, I'm thinking this way. Don't categorize your own self. In every person, there's some shades of gray. Something is good, something can be bad, and sometimes situations make people bad too. Or they're just manifestation of a situation. Now, for example, sometimes how can these forces of nature be good also? You get angry on your teenagers, do you? Is it really bad or is it good for them? Maybe good for them, but that anger should not be a deterrent for your spiritual growth. That anger should not increase your blood pressure. Every action has consequences. You have to control these natural forces of nature, all these 6 attributes. And then now, why the 4 heads are called Man, Buddhi, Chit, Ahankar. Man is mind. So first you have to kill these attributes of the mind, which is detrimental to your spiritual growth. Okay. Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh, Mad, Matsarya, all the 6 enemies, so-called enemies of mind, or have them under control and utilize them as a force, not as a evil aspect of you. Okay. Second, after you have conquered these enemies, then you have to even go beyond your mind. That's what the other 4 heads symbolizes. Mind is a abode of thoughts. Okay. So you don't always dwell in your thoughts. Thoughts can be positive, negative, or mixed emotions. Intelligence is the faculty in which you discriminate what to choose. Okay. So and Chit is either willpower or memory. Okay. We dwell on our memory a lot. Ahankar is again ego. Ego, not like pride, but ego more of a identification with something. So why do you have to kill other 4 heads? Killing 4 heads simply means you have to surrender your mind, intellect, the willpower, and ego, everything to God. And how do you do that practically? Because the whole pursuit of this journey, yoga journey or the spiritual growth, is going beyond mind, beyond your intellect, beyond your memory. Okay? Then only you can achieve that state. You can realize God. So what does practically means to attain that state where you kill your even mind or intellect? 2 things. First is remove that bhava of kartapan. That means the doership. We always feel proud, right? We have done this. We have raised our kids so well. We maintain ourselves so well. We do daily yoga. All this pride, little, that comes and sits into our mind. Okay. So that feeling of doer should be just totally killed. Even if your child is very successful and you have paid a lot of attention on your child, you haven't done anything. The mother in you did everything, or the father in you did everything. It's a role you're playing. Maybe you're the best employee of your organization, but that feeling of doership, that I did it, that should be surrendered to that divinity within. Okay. The second, that whenever you're doing something, don't expect a result of that action that will be conducive to what you want. It can go either way. In either of the situation, whether it's towards you, it's in favor of you, the result, or out of your thought process, that means opposite to what you have thought. In both the cases, accept it as a prasad bhav. Accept the consequences of your action with a grateful attitude, with a gratitude. If you practice this in each and every aspect of your life will be transformed. That means that is the meaning of killing the other 4 heads. Man, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankar. Okay. And third aspect, which I always say, being in the present moment, no matter what you're doing, that alone will take your focus out from the world or people's behavior to your own self. And that prevents the leakage of that energy that you're building up with your practice of meditation and yoga. And that alone will generate the momentum for you to reach that state of mind and go beyond mind, beyond intellect. So that's the whole essence of symbolism of Ram and Ravana. One is like force of nature, uncontrollable, who wants and grabs everything. The other doesn't want anything. Okay. And there's no feeling of doership. Everything is just happening. It's a leela, it's a play of Vishnu. Right? So Jaya Vijay were not bad. Ravan was not bad inherently. He was just playing a role as somebody's playing a role in a movie, like Amrish Puri playing a role of a bad guy. So that's why never think of anybody as good or bad in your life. Even your colleagues or relatives, everybody is playing a role. They're trying to do their best. So Ravan was also playing a role, trying to reach Vishnu through different lifetimes. So nothing is inherently good or bad. So remove this modern concept of a evil and a good, right? There's nothing like that in our culture. We learn from everybody and everything. Every story has a learning. So we are not devoid of conflict. Remember this. This life is not only happiness, not only sadness. It's a mixture of both. Always have to see that we are utilizing these so-called 6 enemies of our mind or 10 heads of Ravana, which is inside us, for our own growth. Whenever there's a conflict between the Ravan and the Ram inside you, try to utilize that force of Ravan in such a way that you always go towards Ram. If you have a Ravana in your life, okay, in a form of a person or a situation, try to give a different perspective to that person or situation. And then the maturity within you lies, like all these practices should foster that maturity within you to give that person or see that person with a different vision or mindset. Everybody has a right to exist, and that there's a reason why there's a Ravan, so that we can appreciate Ram. That Ravan also has a role to play. Okay? See what that person is challenging within you, something within you. That means that person has come for your growth. Maybe you're not able to forgive people or forget things. That person is challenging you for that aspect of your life. So each one has to look within, that what are we getting challenged with the Ravanas in our life? Don't categorize, don't gossip about people that he's like that. Don't categorize people into good or bad, or they always say like that, or she's like that, or he's like that. There's nothing like that. This is a very modern concept, a Bollywood or a Hollywood thing, like this is evil, this is hero. In our culture, it was so mature that everything has a story behind it, and there was a reason for everything. And that character of Ravan also came to teach us something, show that contrast between Ram and Ravan. So always have that mind. If there's a Ravana in your life, see the contrast. You're able to see that itself is a blessing.